Hello students, welcome to my channel. Now let's start with chapter 1 in grade 8, networking concepts. Contents of the chapter are Introduction to Network, Advantages of Networking, Networking Components, Types of Networks, and Network Security. Now let's start with part 1. Introduction to Network. In our daily life, we come across different types of networks. Students, can you give me some examples? I am having few I am discussing with you. The first very well known example is telecommunication network, which enables us to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. The second example is network of banks. We all are using the banking system. The third one is automated teller machine, that is ATMs. Our parents and of course you are also using the ATM. The fourth one is video conferencing. Students, nowadays all of you are attending virtual classes, that is nothing but the example of video conferencing. Can you imagine life without networking? No phone, no television, no internet. Yes, here the answer is truly no. Computer is a part of our life. Computer networks have extended the power of a computer beyond the expanse of a room. So, what is network basically? Connection between two or more devices is called network. Whether you are connecting two phones, whether you are connecting phones with the Bluetooth, whether you are connecting phone with the smart TV, these all the devices you are connecting, it becomes a network. So, all of you are very well aware of network. We all are using it in our daily life. Now, what is network in computer? Interconnection between two or more computers and other peripheral devices is called computer network. Now the question must arise in your mind that why we are creating network? So answer is very simple, to share data and hardware resources. So, a computer network can be defined as a group of computers and other peripheral devices that are linked together for the purpose of sharing data and hardware resources. Now, let's understand with the help of example. Suppose there are three PCs A, B, and C. Now, printer is also attached in a network. If one of the computers in a network has a printer attached to it, then all the computers in that network can access the printer and use it to print the documents. So there is no need of individual printer. So here one advantage, we can share the resources and we can make our work easier, and it also reduces the cost. Now before moving further, let's understand few definitions. First is conferencing. When two users have simultaneous conversation via the internet, it is called conferencing. Students, this consists of only audio. Now video conferencing. When conferencing is supplemented by live video, it is called video conferencing. So it is very easy. Nowadays you all are using it. That is nothing but the virtual classes. So, conferencing contains only audio and video conferencing contains both audio and video. So, conferencing and video conferencing, I hope that all of you are cleared with. Now, the next is intranet. It is a computer network restricted to an organization. Suppose there is one company who wants to create a network, they can create intranet. and it is restricted to a particular organization. Now, the extranet. It is a computer network that allows controlled access to an information source available on internet. Here, users cannot access entire internet, but some part of the internet the user can access. Now, as shown in figure, intranet is having intranet server and extranet is having extranet server. So here both the servers are different and they can handle each of the network respectively. Now Bluetooth. This is very simple. It is a wireless technology that is used to interconnect mobile phones, computers, printers using short range of wireless communication. Okay, so here satellite signals or radio signals are used in this technology. This is also a short range network. Now the next is protocol. Protocols are certain sets of rules that determine how data should be transferred over networks, compressed, presented on the screen, and so on. Students, you all are coming to the school, but before coming to the school, you have to follow certain rules. Likewise, the same way, if you want to share anything in a network, you have to follow certain sets of rules, and that sets of rules are nothing but the protocol. Now, moving ahead, start with part 2, advantages of networking. The first advantage is efficient use of storage media. It is better to store a shareable application data on a network drive than a copy of the application on each user's storage device. Preserving information. When you keep backups on a central location, you have one place to look for the lost information. The next is reduction in hardware cost. In a network, the hardware devices that are not used very often, like modems, printers, scanners, CD writers, etc., can be shared. That already we have shown in the example. This reduces the cost of the hardware. Next is efficiency. In a network, the deletion, modification, or upgradation of the software or data is to be done at a single point only. This brings more efficiency and effectiveness into a working system. Next is redundancy. By sharing the soft copy of a file over the network, the need to share paper copies of the reports or any other information can be eliminated or greatly reduced. So here we can save the papers. Quickest document delivery. Networking provides a facility to instantly deliver soft copies from one computer to the other computers throughout the world. Now let's start with part 3, networking components. Now, depending upon the connectivity, there are two types of network. First is wired network and the second is wireless network. If you want to create wired network, you require additional components to set up a network. And if you want to create wireless network, its components are also different. So both the network require different sets of components. Now let's start with wired network. The first component that is required to set up a wired network is network card. It is used to physically attach a computer to a network. The example is Ethernet network card. It is the most commonly used network card. Nowadays, most computer motherboards come with an inbuilt network card. So there is no need to install this card in the CPU. It is by default installed. The second is networking cable. It is a wire that is connected with network cable. It is twisted pair cable containing 8 wires and an RJ45 connector is crimped at both the ends of the cable as shown in figure. This is slightly looks at the wire of telephone. Students, you might have seen this type of cable in computer lab. The next is modem. Modem stands for modulator and demodulator, that all we know. It connects our computer to the available internet connection that you have purchased. It converts digital signals of a computer to analog signals to enable transmission via phone lines. At the receiving end, it further converts analog signal to digital signal so that data can be understood at the receiving end. So, it works as a mediator. It takes care of conversion of the signals, analog to digital and digital to analog. Now the fourth one is hub and switches. When network has more than two computers, then how will you connect them? For this, you need an interface through which the computers can be connected. This interface or device is nothing but hub or switch. Network cards are used to send and receive data being transmitted over the Ethernet cables. When a network has more than two computers, you cannot directly connect all the computers together. So you require hub and switches. Now see the working of hub and switch. It acts as a central point of connection for all the computers on a network. In figure, there are 4 computers attached, so it works as a mediator. Every computer plugs into the hub or switch. It arranges the ports in such a way so that if a PC transmits data, the data is sent over the other computer through its network card. So first, data will come to hub and hub will transfer to the respective PC. Now let's look at the components required to set up wireless network. The first is wireless network card. Today, laptops and other desktop PCs come with inbuilt wireless network cards. It does not require cable. Instead, it uses radio signals for transferring data. Second is access point or router. It is similar to hub or switch. So here, hub or switch is not required. It has wireless antenna as shown in figure, which sets communication range of radio signals. It is also used to join a wired network. Thus, it will make combination of wired as well as wireless network. So, we require router over here. Students, nowadays all of you are having Wi-Fi. So router you might have seen. It is having antenna to set communication range of radio signals. Now let's know more in wireless. Wireless. It is a means of communication that uses low-powered radio waves to transmit data between devices. So wireless communication uses radio signals. Now wireless networking. It allows the network to be deployed without cabling. So in wireless networking, cables are not used. Wireless access point is nothing but the router. It is a device that connects wireless communication devices to form a wireless network. So I hope that all the 3 definitions clear to you. It is related to wireless. Wi-Fi. It stands for wireless fidelity. It represents wireless network or wireless local area network. It enables radio signals to go further, that is 300 feet approximately, with a faster rate of transmission. Uses. What are the uses of Wi-Fi? To connect mobile, laptops, smartphones, tablets, printer, etc. We all are using it. So it is very common to us. So wireless is very easier than wired network. Now let's move further to part 4. Depending upon the geographical area covered by a network, there are various types of computer networks. They are personal area network, that is PAN, local area network, that is LAN, metropolitan area network, that is MAN, and wide area network, that is WAN. Now let's understand each of them one by one. First is personal area network. As shown in figure, it is mainly created for an individual like us. It can be wired or wireless or combination of both. It generally covers range of less than 10 meters. Uses. It is used for communication among devices such as laptops, mobile phones or smartphones. It is used to transfer files including emails, calendar, appointments, digital photos and music. So all of you are using Bluetooth speaker? Yes. So from phone you are playing songs, that is a PAN. Now next is local area network. It is mainly created within a small area such as room, office building or campus. It can be wired or wireless or combination of both. Data transmission speed is slower as compared to wide area network. It is controlled and administered by a single person or an organization. So here there is one person who is handling all the activities of the user, network, security, etc. So local area network. Now next is metropolitan area network, that is MAN. It is a larger network than LAN. It is spread across a city, that is why it is known as metropolitan. Examples are television, we all know that, branches of local bank in a city, etc. Now the range of MAN is larger than the LAN. So keep in your mind, first is LAN and then MAN. Now let's move further. The next is wide area network, that is WAN. It covers greater distance and operates nationwide. Computer terminals are not physically connected with wires. The data speed is very fast. It operates using telecommunication or satellite signals. Examples are telecom system, internet and ATM. So all the three services uses satellite signals. As it operates nationwide, the larger data transmission errors can occur. So this is one drawback of WAN. Now let's move further. Part 5, network security. Now let's look at the definition. Network security means protecting data and resources from any unauthorized access. Since many users are accessing the same data, so you must ensure its proper security. It is the most important aspect in computer networking that you have to achieve it, because if someone can access your data may be lost. Now, why we need network security? What if there is no network security? Some employees may try to change data like leave records, salaries, performance appraisals, etc. Accidental deletion of important data. Former employees may harm company's data. People outside the company may try to access its confidential data. So, network security is very important. Now, how to achieve it? There are two levels of network security. First is login security and the second is write security. Now let's learn one by one. The first is login security. You can assign login name and password to your employees. That is very common. We are having this facility if we are working in network. In banks also you are having account number. In Gmail or email service also you are having your login name and password. So you can create login name and password for your employee. The second is right security. Based upon username, you can give rights like read only access, read write access, or no access. Now look at the figure. There are users A to J. Roles are created and rights are also created. A is system admin. So he or she can access entire system. Now look at the user H. He or she is having a limited access. So they can access their profiles only. Now look at the user B. It assigned a role as normal user and rights given to him are accessing the network and edit the profile. So this way you can achieve right security. So here our chapter ends. I hope that all your concepts cleared. Thank you for watching my video.